folks! Isn't that a beautiful... Wait, hold on. That's too low. Do we go higher? Wait, hold on. Let's go higher, shall we? Nope. Too high? Can we go higher? No, that's too high. Okay. All right, we'll go that way. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the continuing... there you are. Welcome to 2023. We have made it to March, or at least when you watch this video, it should be March 1st, 2023. Let's see where we're at. So, nobody seems to be giving enough credit to Wizards of the Coast for the Phyrexia All Will Be 69 set. The first set we've had in a long time where the product, a standard set released, and the sealed product did not collapse. And the collector boxes are holding strong. Nobody saw that coming. I didn't either. I thought they were either going to spike or they were going to tank. And none of that happened. It just stayed flat, which is surprisingly bullish. Draft and set boxes, probably like 110, 130, 140s. Everything's pretty stable. Dominar Remastered, very stable. Doesn't seem to be a bunch more restocks, reprints coming. And we got to give some credit to that because there's a lot of rumors swirling. And people are speculating on whether or not what Dr. Cox and Cynthia stated from Philip Morris about they hear the feedback of the market and they are going to adjust. They haven't said they're going to adjust. They said, we hear your feedback. That's about all they say. But the thing is, are they adjusting? Because rumors are starting to swirl around that they've already been adjusting, but they're being quiet about it. They don't want to verbalize and verbally tell all of us that what they're doing. They're just quietly moving the pieces on the chessboard. And it's starting to feel that way. I mean, when we look at and of course, let's look at the landfill dump situation. Well, it is very clear that, well, they've destroyed some product from, looks like Infinity Draft, Modern Horizons blister for retail big box, not booster boxes. And yes, unless it was staged, there are some Magic 30 cards that were destroyed in this dumpster or trashed or whatever it is. The point is, and of course, secret layers that may or may not be selling that good because I don't know anyone who's, like when Secret Lair started, like even I wanted to buy some, like at the very beginning of 2019, 2020, like the year of the rats in the very beginning, little bundles and things. I mean, it was great. You got a great discount for buying a bundle. You bought at least a certain amount, you got free shipping. And, you know, there was only a Secret Lair like once every couple months at the very, very beginning. And then all of a sudden, things went out of control. And I don't know anyone who's spending, like, even in like 2020, 2021, like there was specifically 2021, I knew a good handful of collector investors that were still buying like the 30, and then when they raised the quantity to anything, 30 to 40 of each Secret Lair, like each order they were placing with Secret Lair was like, dude, it's like $20, $30, $40,000. Like I knew collectors and investors that were still going pretty heavy. And like every single one of them threw the towel in last year. They said, this is out of control. There's just too many. Like I remember one individual investor told me, I said, hey, I texted him and I said, hey, are you still buying like 30 to 50 of every Secret Lair? And the dude replied to me and says, Rudy, I'm in like 6 Secret Lairs deep that I haven't even received. And each order is like $40,000. And I was like, that's $250,000 of pending inventory that haven't been delivered, that's backlogged. And he was just so frustrated. He's like, dude, this is out of control. And he stopped. Like cold turkey. Like didn't even buy, 5 of each or 1 of each, just literally just said I'm out. Because he's like, the confidence and the direction and the sheer volume was so outrageous. I mean, and the person even acknowledged me. He's like, Rudy, some of these are going to spike in value. Everybody knows that. Because there's going to be some random Secret Lairs that are going to have stupid low print runs because only like 5,000, 10,000 people bought them. So the print run's going to be like 5 or 10,000. And it's going to be really expensive. It's going to 10x your money. And I'm sure that's going to happen. But it's not if that happens, it's when it does, is it really worth being entangled in that whole program and system and delays and everything with that many just to randomly get lucky with a few? And then some other ones go up a little bit and some are flat. And it's just the fact the system has such delays and now they've removed the bulk discount ability. It's just, I don't know anyone who's doing it really big. So again, to see some Secret Lairs in like a landfill situation, I'm not really surprised. So back to the point of this video. there's a lot of conversation and chatter at store and distribution level right now, wondering if Wizards already has been making adjustments. And I don't know the answer to that. I remain very skeptical that that's a real, true thing happening, but it feels like they are tightening a little. And is anyone going to also comment that I don't think, like, we had Phyrexia All Will Be 69 came out a couple weeks ago in, like, beginning to mid-February, and now there's not another release till March of the Machines, which is April? Like, when's the last time we went almost, what, a month and a half, almost 2 months since a release? Like, that hasn't happened in a long time. So we're actually skipping an entire calendar. I know people are going, whoa, Wizards skipped 1 month, Rudy. I mean, for the record, it is kind of a big deal because it hasn't happened in a while. It's outside the previous behavior range of what they've been doing the last 12 to 24 months. So again, is this a sign of slow, subtle shifts in behavior? If it is, again, like I've been saying for a while, if Wizards adjusts the quantity of product releases and tightens it up and tightens the variance of all these versions of everything, their profit, in my opinion, in their margins more than the profit, are going to look more attractive to Wall Street, Hasbro, to everything. Because I don't think the sales are going to decline much. I think people are going to spend more time enjoying the products that are there, you know, cracking the set and learning about it and solving that format or that product or that box. I think more money will be spent on each particular product, and I don't think the revenue drop, if any, will be significant. Because right now, many people are simply skipping some products, or instead of, I mean, they tell me all the time, Rudy, dude, love you in a slightly gay way. I said, you got nice hair, and you know I'm using a $9 haircut, so I'm okay with it. And I just said, you know, hey, Rudy, I don't want to buy a case. I just want a single box because it's just too much, even though I think you're cute. And I said, well, my ex and my stepsister think I'm cute too. But it's just one of those things where if that person was buying a full case, instead of spending $200, maybe they're spending $1,000. But then they say, Rudy, I'm only going to spend $200, and I'm going to wait for the next set, and I'll get a case of that. Okay, well, if that timeline was different, that person's probably going to spend the same amount of money. A store would probably order more of a certain product if it sold better and they had more confidence. So there's a lot of arguments to be made. You know, is there going to be a substantial difference if they actually slow down to one release every 2 months instead of every, 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks? It was crazy for a while. And, you know, it's very interesting. And more importantly, something like Wall Street's interested in is the margins will look more attractive. Wizards and Hasbro will experience expanding margins. For those of you not into the financial world and you actually enjoy your life and you're not miserable like me, that means simply that the top line gross sales will actually flow through to bottom line profit at a wider margin. So if you sell $1 million in cards, instead of making $100,000 in profit, that $1 million in sales could make you $200,000 or $300,000 in profit. In other words, the margin that makes it to the end game, the finish line, the profit, will be wider. Therefore, you don't need as much sales and product and growth. And of course, as we talked about, less products and variants and paying artists and R&D will have less labor and, you know, behind the scenes costs. So that brings back to the original question of this video. Has a shift already started? And a lot of people are telling me that they believe it has. And it started with Dominator Remastered in the first standard set, the Phyrexian one. Because while they make products and test it and do all this, Wizards doesn't physically print products years in advance. Usually maybe a month, 2, 3 months in advance, or they'll print samples. But overall, remember folks, Wizards may design sets that are 2 years in advance or 3 years in advance, but they're not printing the product 2, 3 years in advance. So they do maintain the ability to cut or change how much they pay to actually have printed, probably within a couple months of release. That's my personal opinion. I have no evidence. I'm a cat with an $8 haircut. So if this, let's pretend for a second, positive Penelope Rudy, if these things are factual, or there's a realm of truth to this, that's a really big deal. And going later into this year, with Commander and Masters super expensive, this Lord of the Rings and all the drama around them between the race and the character blackface thing, and then of course the price of the characters and the price of the boxes, all the drama with this crap, you know, if they print a lot less of it, even if the price is higher, it has a higher probability of being financially successful. And that's what we're focused on over here at Rudy's Emporium's Timmy's Basement in the Left Ball Club. And it may already be happening, but we're not really going to know for another 3 to 6 months. And then one other thing I have to add to this video is, remember, I still believe we are exiting the bear market. That's been in place now for a year and a half since the peak of crypto and stocks in the market and all this stuff in 2021. Was it crypto peaked May of 2021? That was when Flesh and Blood Monarch hit, and then that tanked. And then November of 2021, the stock market peaked. So again, we've been eroding and sliding slowly and quietly for a year and a half now. And I still believe we are shifting. We have turned and we have pivoted, whatever fancy word you want to use. I do believe things have tilted already. And not only am I so adamant to that, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. That's why I've already told you guys, I'm sure you guys have been seeing the other videos, where I'm expanding my draft boxes to patrons over the next 30, 45 days to onboard all the draft boxes that I skipped now that the market is showing signs of stabilizing and prices are not being fire sold by stores to just take losses and get their money out of the game. So now that I'm seeing this stuff, that's why I'm making my own personal moves, because, well, if I'm right and the market has shifted, these are the times the smart money and the early money starts to make its moves. And again, reserve list, ABU Full Horsemen, they're not hitting new highs. They're still down probably, what, 10, 20, 30% from the all-time highs, depending what card or grade or metric you're using. And again, most new products, same thing, nowhere near the all-time highs. But we are seeing things that we haven't seen in 1 to 2 years, which is a standard product coming out and holding its own. And whether that's due to lack of supply or a happy customer or both of those are very positive indicators. And now, going into March of the Machine, which is, I know, like 45 days from now, if March of the Machine, the second standard set, comes out and it holds its own also, when I start to see that kind of a trend, that's the third major release in 2023 of Wizards, and if that comes out and the supply of collector boxes and set and draft, if it holds its own and doesn't collapse and performs the way Phyrexia and Dominar Remastered did, that's 3 in a row. One time can be luck in this world. You fell, you slipped, you landed inside of him or her. One time could be a fluke, lightning in a bottle. 2 times, that's a coincidence. That could be interesting. 3 times in the financial world is usually considered a beginning of a trend or something that, like to label the word pattern. So when I start to, if I see a third Magic set here, and it does well, which it's starting, there's a lot of positive hype, at least from messages from you all who are patrons, and you all in the comment section are very positive about it. It's funny because everybody is pretty positive about the products, but everyone is so negative about, Chris Cox, Cynthia Williams, Magic 30, dumpster fires, ball sacks, all this stuff. People are so negative, and you have a right to be. It's trash. But then we look at these regular products coming out, and when you strip all that crap away and all that baggage and gunk, the sets are good, man. They're not releasing Dragon's Maze. Baldur's Gate was this era's Dragon's Maze. But besides Baldur's Gate, and besides Dragon's Maze, in the last 15 years, there's not a lot of products right now that have collapsed. I mean, Iconic Masters was a huge impact in the market, and even that came back. At the beginning, Ixalan and Rivals, Hour of Devastating Your Wallet, Amma and Kitty Cat, these blocks did rough. I sold very little. Patrons quit. They left. They told me F off selling this trash. Oh, look, there's Rudy selling that standard guard. And again, I lived through it. I've been on YouTube 7 years, folks, and I can tell you all for a fact, I was front and center to people saying, that's what you're selling us, Rudy, and nobody bought it. And to this day, time has a funny way of changing how we view things. And right now, to me, I'm still in the camp that I think the market is turning. And I think it's going to be slow. It's going to be gradual. And over the next 3, 6, 9 months, if I'm right, it's going to be a very surprising shift in market sentiment. And that's all I have today. I hope you guys learned something. But the point of this video was to let you all know there's a lot of chatter that Wizards is already making changes on supply and release schedule. In addition to that, there's a lot of chatter about, money starting to move back into newer sealed product, back into old magic. There's a lot of money moving back into flesh and blood between the sealed boxes and the single cards. Even Monarch is upticking off its lows. We're seeing upticks even on even MetaZoo had Wilderness upticking. UFO is still pretty bad. Seance is sitting around $100 a box. People are excited about the native and the new block. A lot of the Weiss sets have actually been coming off their lows. Supply is dwindling. A lot of the, and again, Pokemon's, well, every stupid Pokemon set just goes up. To me, this many things across the market moving is almost wanting to use the word as a pattern or a trend, where the market, the water level of the ocean appears to be pushing back up, and all these little ships are starting to move up together. So again, the fact that it's not just Pokemon or not just flesh and blood booming again, the fact I'm seeing a lot of things turn a corner here is making me continue to be positive for this year. And I know Hasbro's a bunch of morons. I know the negativity. I know how everyone feels, and everyone's been burned and the downshift and everything. Essentially, if you bought most stocks or most crypto or most collectibles or even real estate in the last 6 months, you probably lost money. That is the definition of a bear market. You buy something, and literally the next day you feel like crap because you're losing money. And then, the human brain says, why should I keep buying if every day I lose money? And that makes the human brain want to go into the fight or flight, and you want to back off, or you want to get out and stop the pain. That is natural human, pretty much progression, emotion, how humans handle things. So that's why it's so difficult to be an investor, because it's boring, it's unsexy, and we are wired to do the toughest. We are wired to make the worst decisions. The worse the market is, the more money we lose, we are wired to stop the pain and run. That's what human beings are designed to do. And that's why it's so difficult to do it. That's why 90% of stock traders and day traders never make money. And for the collectible world and the crypto world and real estate, it's probably the same thing. So that's all I have. Positive Penelope. Rudy here is still trying to move forward. And overall, I still feel pretty good about this year. I'm still, obviously, the high prices of Commander Masters is disturbing. There's Lord of the Rings, all the anger with the characters and the race thing. And of course, the crazy prices with serialized cards coming back is also a little concerning. So I don't know how it's going to settle out. But, there's a lot of good things happening. The amount of orders coming through, the amount of demand from my own patrons, the amount of excitement from you all and different products and message. It is upshifting. I just don't know if it's a dead cat bounce or if I'm right and we have ended the bear market. And it's going to take another couple months for us to really know. By the summer, we're going to know. And the problem is, by the time we know, everything's going to be repriced and it's going to be too late for us to wait on the sidelines, that kind of thing. So, hope you learned something today. As always, have a beautiful day, folks. And always remember, at the end of the day, here's a picture of my penis.